When you hear 3D anime battle royale, you might react the same way I do. Increased heart rate, dizziness, faster breathing. Wait, no, that's general anxiety. But My Hero Ultra Rumble is good. Like 200 hours in under a month good. And not just in an it's a 7 out of 10 if you enjoy the show, but a 5 out of 10 if you've never heard of it kind of way. I'd argue it holds up on its own even without the My Hero branding. If you've never heard of My Hero Academia, it's a manga where humans develop superpowers called quirks with interesting powers that include zero gravity, getting huge, and getting hard. All of which are used in-game to try and be the last team of 3 out of 8 to become the #1 hero. Now, I'm no stranger to ranked modes or leaderboards, but this would be the first time I'd truly push myself to be one of the best, if not the best. But before I do that, I have to play ranked. And before I do that, I have to learn how to play the game. Since I'm not an irredeemable asshole, I start out in unranked to learn the basics and maybe even sneak in a win. So, I'm an incredibly unlucky person, and something I haven't mentioned yet is that unlocking characters in this game involves gacha. But, luckily with my first free rolls, I got Ibarra, who wields the power of sniper rifle vines for hair, and also Jesus. My first few games went about as well as you would expect somebody joining a month late would go, but despite my own skill issues, I was able to find a team good enough to carry me to my first win, and I even managed to stay alive until the end. In Ultra Rumble, even something as mundane as supporting your team can make you feel like a hero. Revive cards let you bring back KO'd teammates, and some characters can even pick them up when they're downed. And unsurprisingly for me, Ibarra happens to be one of them. Pulling off clutch saves and bringing your teammates back from the brink of death where you go on to win the whole game, nothing feels better. And so, now with a few wins under my belt and confidence overflowing, I decided it's time to hop into ranked and test my mettle against the other sweats and tryhards. Sporting my new favorite, Froppy, who wields the power of, frog, I hop in to see what all the fuss is about. It went about as you'd expect, death. And I get a sneak peek at my new worst enemy, the ranked point screen. It's fairly self-explanatory, deal damage and get kills, and you get points while an entry cost deducts more and more points the higher you go. But score rank and phase top damage are a bit more odd, especially considering that phase top damage doesn't actually mean phase top damage. See, every time you're the top point earner for one of 4 categories in the leaderboard, you get 80 points. Damage and KOs are there, that makes sense, but civilian rescues/threatens and items given are the others. So the game kind of actively gaslights you into thinking its ranked mode is way worse than it really is. And honestly, you might even be able to climb exclusively through pacifist No, stop, another video maybe. A few games in and I'm starting to really get the hang of things, just ignore that our teammate left. Especially Froppy with her extremely high mobility and damage output. Nothing can stand in her okay. I guess somebody hacking could... Oh, my other teammate is hacking too. Uh-oh. Thanks, I guess? But honestly, it happens in just about every single online game ever made, and it'll probably be pretty rare. The game now has proper anti-cheat at least, and to be honest, I haven't seen a hacker in weeks, but while I was recording this, it was rough at times. But like every power metal band in existence, we carry on into what is arguably one of the sickest combos I've done in this game. Yeah, okay, Froppy probably deserved all the nerfs. Since I have an incurable case of can't choose a main-itis, I swapped to learning Mount Lady to take advantage of her ability to grow to 67.7 feet tall. Damn, only 1.3 more feet and I could have made a funny joke. This size increase undeniably gives her the best kit for the later phases where the circle just gets smaller and smaller until you can't escape her massive girth. Even better, her stomp goes through walls so any attempts to hide from it ends in pain. Sadly, there was another issue that this earlier version of the game had where when you downed someone, you had to finish them off yourself to earn the KO, which meant that an enemy could come along and steal it from you, or worse, the storm, or worse, your own teammate, and in a ranked environment where a kill gets you 100 points closer to, at the very least, refunding your entry costs so you don't drop in points, which you will do a lot, this can create some tension. Even if you were actively hitting someone, if the storm did the final tick of damage, you got nothing. But luckily this isn't too big of an issue until later on when the entry costs start nearing 1,000. About halfway through gold or pro rank, I started playing Dobby, known for fire, his love of the hero killer, and being arguably one of the worst characters, or mid-tier at best. But he has at least one upside. When a character is down, they don't get affected by the rule of 4, where after taking 4 hits that stagger your character, you get invulnerability to prevent easy one-shots. So, placing 2 to 3 of his fire mines will very quickly finish off downed opponents. This makes the hard part of finishing a downed opponent much easier, since placing 3 traps takes less than a second compared to other characters. Plus, fighting him is super annoying, and I love that for me. 2 of his abilities also block projectiles, making him an oddly fantastic support to his team despite having an entirely damage-focused kit. Something I've learned about humans is that we're a lot like dinosaurs. If the thing we're looking for isn't moving, we just don't notice sometimes. You'd be surprised how often this works. Also, like dinosaurs, some of us have brains the size of a chicken and decide to land on the other side of the map away from teammates, die, then leave to presumably do the exact same thing to other people. Thank you. Similar to llamas in Fortnite, Ultra Rumble has a child. If you rescue him like you would any old citizen, you're rewarded with 3 potions that give you and your teammates a level in every single quirk. But the kid's bad at keeping his mouth shut, so you better grab the items quickly before someone with epic gamer ears notices and swipes the loot away. As with any half-decent rank system, if you do poorly enough times in quick succession, you can drop down a rank. More than once even. You can climb right back up, but with those rising entry costs, it means that every single game starts to matter. So those funny games where someone dies and leaves immediately start to really matter, since if you land and immediately die, you could just drop hundreds of points and wipe away progress from previous games. Worse yet, you can win the game and still lose points if you didn't top the leaderboard or get enough damage or knockouts. And with that being said, Dobby starts to show his weaknesses in ranked. While he works fantastically with a team and can often be the difference between victory and defeat, it's tough securing downs when your main offense is a slow-moving fireball. So it's back to the main mines for me as I try to figure out someone who can push this penultimate rank before I reach Ace, the final and highest tier in ranked. I decided to try out Toga, and while she's fantastic at running through a crowd, she's a bit hard to keep alive. And I'm not exactly at a point where I can also juggle the ability to become every other character in the game at will. Momo, however, much more my speed, and even though I don't own her, I can try her up to 3 times a day for free. I've faced her before, so I had some knowledge of what to do, but didn't expect to have the best game of my goddamn life. But all things must come to an end, and I'm all out of tickets. So I end up hopping on Kendo, who wields the power of having 2 really big hands. It's better than it sounds, I swear. Her damaging abilities are a clap that deal massive damage, and a slap that hurls rocks like a shotgun alongside a shield that stuns enemies foolish enough to attack it long enough to land a free clap. Her kit fulfills both my desires to be able to support my team and to quickly finish my enemies before some asshole swoops in and steals my heart and kill, which is again probably my own teammate. In any online game, having a teammate leave is the worst, but being the underdog can lead to massive highs if you end up somehow taking it all home. By this point, I'm confident that I can hit Ace before the end of the season, even starting a month late, but that doesn't mean there's not a long road ahead still, and anything to make the road a bit less bumpy is much appreciated. At this point, I realize that you can still earn top phases even if your team is knocked out entirely. As long as you stay in the game during gas phases, you'll get points at the end. This can lead to games where you start, rescue a couple civilians, get wiped at the first fight, then manage to earn 460 extra ranked points just because you stayed until the very end, and somehow, no one else rescued civilians. Granted, this is probably slower than just running it back, but with the entry cost looming in the horizon, it's nice to take a break occasionally and watch the festivities. Halfway through the final rank with only a week left until the end of the season, it's time to get serious. Look, okay, you can still have fun when you're serious. Everyone knows that teabagging is the universal I'm friendly. But at this point, it's just a few great games until I reach Ace, and with 4 days to spare. And so, ranked mode is defeated, and I can claim the title of, top 1400 on PC. If I had to boil down this experience down into one word, it'd be fun. As stressful and frustrating as it could be at times, I wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for how charming, unique, and surprisingly balanced the game was, even before all the fixes and changes that have been made since recording. But hitting Ace just means I have so much to learn, and a long way to go before I can truly be the #1 hero.